Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Shannon and this is Planet 386. I'm so happy to be back. We made it home from Arizona. It was amazing. I feel like I could do a whole separate video on that, but to keep it short and simple, I won't. All I'll say is it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life, and I highly recommend everyone see Arizona at least once in their life. We did go to the Desert Botanical Gardens, which was incredible. And if you're here, I'm assuming it's probably because you love plants too. And if that's something you'd be interested in and you're out there, I highly recommend checking it out. So we got home and I had been meaning to get a video up. I had been craving it and I went to sit down to film and I realized that the footage looked very blurry. And I was like, that's so strange. We've only had this camera, mind you, for less than 60 days. We actually picked it up initially for the trip to Arizona. So we took it out there, we used it, and everything came out great. When I came home, like I said, I went to go use it and everything looked blurry. So upon further inspection, I realized that the lenses had this sort of, it appeared to be like a smudging. And despite my best efforts, even John tried, we just couldn't get the smudging off. And turns out the lenses were scratched. And so we had gone with the GoPro Max, and it has these lenses that protrude from the camera, which is a very, very poor design. You know, I would consider us to have been pretty gentle with the camera overall. I was very careful to like set it sideways, not lay it down flat. And the thing is the lenses, I don't think they're replaceable. If they are, it's extremely expensive to do so. So we were able to return the camera or exchange it, and we ended up going with the GoPro Hero Black Creator Edition. So hopefully the quality is better. It's my first time working with it, so bear with me. This whole YouTube journey has been quite a journey. Editing, that's the other thing. I did have a video go up while we were out, but it does take me a little bit to get things edited. So, you know, I'm a little slower to get things up, but I'm trying to work on that. And so, yeah, we're back. I thought it would be fun to kind of go through and talk about my Hoya collection. I do want to do a houseplant tour at some point, but I kind of thought this would be something interesting for those of you that maybe aren't interested in certain genus. This is kind of an easy way for you to check out what I have within a genus that you're interested in. So I figured today we'll start with Hoyas and we'll just dive right into it. So the first one I have is actually it's a new one. I just picked it up and it's kind of funny because I haven't bought a plant in a while. And I went into Lowe's the other day and I just saw this guy sitting there. And I was like, oh my goodness, he's so cute. It's like already trellised and I had no idea what it was. So I hate also when they don't label the plant properly, when it just says like, hi, my name is Beautiful Home Decor. I'm coming for Lowe's and Home Depot specifically. That is very frustrating. Which actually it's probably not Lowe's and Home Depot, it's whoever they're getting them from. Costa, whatever. This one is from Live Trends and it just says Hoya Trellis. So at least we know it's a Hoya. But upon further digging, and I think I did find a tag that says this is Hoya Commingiana, which is surprising because normally you don't get that. They've even gone as far as to tell you where it's native to, which maybe they're listening because I know I'm not the only one that complains about that. But anyways, yeah, I think he's super cute. I love the way he's displayed. I love the little pot that it came in. I'm definitely going to repot it as I do with most of my plants when I get them. I'm just, I'm not interested in having all of this like decorative moss, and the soil looks like it's just absolutely atrocious. So we're gonna take care of that. He seems to be growing well despite all of that, but it's something on my to-do list actually for tomorrow. So that is my first one, new to the collection. All right, so next on my list is this one here. This is Hoya Australis Lisa. I think I got the original mother plant from EFG Orchids. Yes, EFG Orchids, maybe around this time last year. It was a pretty nice sized plant, pretty well established, and then it was doing really well. I'm not sure actually what happened to it. I feel like it got overwatered at some point, and so I had taken a cutting of it. This was kind of when I was pretty new to Hoya and I was sort of experimenting with them on propagating and all of that. And I had taken a cutting of it, and I'm so glad that I did, because that mother plant ended up dying, and I have this beautiful, beautiful plant here. So I'm growing her in my semi-hydro mix. She seems to be super happy. Tomorrow I'll go through and I'll be watering everything. I haven't really had a ton of time to like tend to my plants since I've been home, so I'm really excited for this weekend. I will be able to kind of get in there and look around. But anyways, this one grows super easily for me for the most part. Like I said, I don't really ever have any issues with pests or anything like that. And I just think it's such a stunning plant to look at. She's probably one of my favorite Hoyas, to be honest. Next is this girl, JMO. JMO, come here. Being very noisy. Your little feet, they're very noisy. His brother is at a sitter, like a sleepover, so he's kind of bored. Anyway, this is Hoya parasitica black margin. I got this from a private seller. Why are you so interested in this? I got this from a private seller, and it took a while for me to kind of understand this Hoya. This was actually the first Hoya that I sort of struggled with. It would put out leaves, and then they would just sort of like do this here. So I'm sure there's something going on with this plant, and I'm sure if I looked at it under a microscope, I would probably see, who even knows. I do have it growing in my semi-hydro, and the roots look great. I mean, overall, since putting it in the semi-hydro, it's done better for me, but I'm not really sure. It's given me this new little piece of tendril, so I mean, that's always a good sign, but I don't know, I just feel like the leaves don't look so great. They almost look like that thing they do when they curl, when Hoyas shouldn't do that. So I don't know, you guys. Next is my Hoya Polynura, another one that I sort of find challenging to grow. As you can see, it looks a bit on the yellow side, at least to me anyways. And I'm not really sure ever what this plant wants from me. It seems to be doing better since it's been in this substrate. I moved a lot of my Hoyas over to my semi-hydro mix. So I just have it in this little cup here. And I just have it in this little jar. This is actually a little jar of olives. And JMO, you're killing me. And I decoupaged some dried flowers in there. And I just think that's so cute. Anyway, so that's where he sits. That's where he lives. He's grown 4 leaves since I've had him. I did order this from Canopy Plant Co. It's a site online I do enjoy ordering from, but I don't know. I just see these beautiful photos of the Polynura looking so gorgeous, and maybe one day mine will be there. Okay, this will be the last one we do with him in here, and I'll put him outside to play. So just bear with the sound for a few more minutes. This is Hoya Bella. This is one I wanted for a while. This is pretty recent to me. I got her at the last plant swap, and we have come to get to know each other. It took a little bit, and even to this moment, I'm kind of like, are you happy? She is giving me new leaves, and she's given me this whole little section here, which tells me that, you know, she's happy. But she's another tricky one to me. Her leaves, it almost looks kind of like fungal down here. So I don't know, like maybe if I should even just like chop that. Anyways, in my semi-hydro, and I just love her. I think she's so dang cute. I got her from a private seller here locally. Her name is Tony. I adore her, and she loves her Hoyas. So yes, this is one of her babies, and I'm just praying that I can keep it alive. Okay, so next I have this guy here. This is Hoya Croniana Super Splash. And I love this little leaf, right? You see him, this little, where is he? The other side. I'm backwards in the camera here. So pretty. This one is another one I'm just struggling with. It just doesn't seem happy no matter what I do. It's in semi-hydro. It seems to have accepted it. I do have some, you know, nice looking roots coming in. It's just, I don't know. It just always looks sort of yellowy. But overall, it's alive, and it seems like he's plugging along, so, you know, we're gonna plug along with him. And then this is my Hoya Wyetii. Pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. This guy's come a long way. This was another one that I bought. This was one of my first Hoyas, actually, and I bought it in a pretty full-size pot. Maybe you'll see a pattern here, but it ended up sort of rotting out. I probably overwatered it, and it was actually variegated. This was actually a cutting that I took where I had noticed it had started to revert, and fortunately that cutting ended up taking because the variegated plant or the mother plant ended up perishing. So this is what we're working with now. I'm just happy to have it. Again, it's in semi-hydro, some little rooties in there. So I'm just happy to have him. I think he's pretty cute. I love that he's like starting to trail now. It's taken us a while to get there. Next one is a big one. So this is my Hoya, is it Bertonier Af? Yes, this one I got as a pretty mature plant. I've had it for a little while though, so he's definitely given me some growth. He's pretty simple. This one and I haven't struggled at all. I pretty much just water him when I water. Actually, I've never even repotted him by the looks of it, which is kind of out of my character. I usually always repot pretty much right away. I don't see any peduncles yet. In fact, none of my Hoyas have ever bloomed for me, but I'm hoping someday I can get something out of this one. Otherwise, I don't know. I like him in this bucket, and he just pretty much sits on top of my Millsbow. He's in soil. And yeah, I just think he's so cute. He does have these little fuzzy little leaves too. They're just like barely fuzzy, super soft, sort of velvety. Super cute. All right, next one is I've just kind of gathered them all around me. This is my Hoya. Oh, you guys, I cannot pronounce this one. I really try, but this one is beyond me. I'm just gonna hold up the tag for you. I did get him from EFG Orchids. This little pot that I have him in, he seems to love it. This plant, again, we struggled. It was on a beautiful trellis when I got it, and when I brought him home, he did nothing. He just stopped growing. He stayed that way for a while, just like on the trellis, no new leaves, no nothing. And I think I ended up repotting him to just sort of like, you know, encourage some growth, and it just went on a rapid decline. Like you can see how well established he was pretty big leaves. And anyway, so I think he was down to these 2 leaves actually, is all I had left. And so since then, we've definitely turned around, and it was after I potted him up into the mix. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. He also doesn't seem to like to be on the trellis because anytime I trellis him, he seems to like eradicate those leaves. So I don't know. I don't know what that's about. Could just be mine. This one is probably, this is definitely top 3 of my Hoyas, and this is my Hoya Wilbur Graves. So again, this was just a little, I believe 2-leaf cutting. I got this at the last plant swap and from the same private seller that I mentioned earlier. This was definitely a wish list plant for a long time. I've had her on my list. And I was so excited to get her, and I am just so thrilled at the growth she's given me in such a short time. So the last plant swap was in January. So this was just a 2-leaf cutting in January. It's definitely rooted in this little jar, which is that semi-hydro mix. I do have a video on that if you're interested. Sorry guys, I don't know where I left off. My camera overheated. I had to let it cool down. Anyways, Hoya Wilbur Graves, she's one of my faves. Love her. So happy to have her. I just think she's absolutely beautiful. And I'm just excited to see where this guy goes. And then we're gonna do one more. If there's an outfit change, it's because now my battery's about to die and I may just finish this up tomorrow. But the last one I want to show you guys today is my Hoya Chelsea. Super cute. I absolutely love the way this girl grows. She gives me absolutely no struggle. She just wants to vine. I find that every time I try to trellis her, she doesn't like it. But one of the things I love the most is just her little fuzzy leaves and just the way that they grow, sort of just so cupped like that, and then they kind of stretch out, expand. I don't know. So cute. And I got this at a local nursery here called Crazy Plants. They are actually they sell plants, and the money they sell, or the money they earn from their plants, they use towards rescuing critters, animals. So it's a good cause. Anyways, so cute. We love her. Can't wait to see where she goes. I have her in just this cute little, I don't even know what this was. I have no idea. I just thought the jar was cute. And so yeah, Hoya Chelsea. All right, so I found a cord. I'm hoping that maybe I can get a few more out. So the next one is Hoya Mathilde. This one I think was in my last favorites video. I am quite obsessed with this little plant and how well she's grown for me. It's been super easy, and by super easy, I mean I got this as a really teeny tiny cutting. The sad thing is I don't really remember who I bought this from, which is disappointing because I do try to always remember where I get my plants. I want to be better about also marking when I get them, but anyway, I'm just enamored by her growth. I'm enamored by her little fuzzy leaves and the fact that she gives me absolutely no fuss, and just how well she's growing. I do plan on trellising a few of these Hoyas at some point, but for right now, being as though they're just so small, I'm enjoying them as like trailing plants. So that's kind of where we are, you know, when you see them all sort of draped over. A lot of these are also relatively new to me. Next one is Hoya Carrii, the Heart Hoya, and this is one of the variegated ones. This is the, I believe, inner variegated. I have struggled with this one a ton. It just doesn't seem to want to do anything. I know these are a little slower to grow, but it seems like every time she goes to give me something, she rejects it. So she's got some really great looking healthy roots in here, so I know it can't be that, you know, her roots are bad. I think she just marches to the beat of her own drum, and I do quite like you know, just how odd she is in this jar. It is doing something here. I don't know if you can see that little green right here. There's like a little green node, it looks like, maybe forming or something. But yeah, in the meantime, I just think she's just cute, just sitting the way she is. She's been that way forever. I did just recently move her in here, so I'm hoping that the higher light will do her some good, as well as this Hoya Sunrise. Another one, you can see where she's tried to do something for me on 2 separate occasions, and it just does this sort of yellowing and dies off. I do see a new point here. It looks like she's going to try again. I don't know how well you can see that, but anyway, I have moved her in to this room, so I'm kind of hoping that that will do her some good. I will sort of take a quick look at her tomorrow, probably, you know, take these pieces off, get rid of, you know, yellow leaves, and hopefully this summer we can get something out of her, because she's never really done much for me. This is just a little cutting off of my mother plant that I will show you later on in the video. I'll probably take some B-roll of my larger Hoyas because they're way too big to move. But yeah, this is Hoya Carnosa Crimson Princess, I believe. If I'm wrong, please correct me down below. I think this was actually my very first Hoya, and I was so enamored by it. I ended up then feeling like I needed all the Hoyas. So here we are. This is just a little cutting of her. I, again, was just experimenting with propagation, and I think this is one that, if you're new to plants, is an amazing option. This thing just continues to grow. It's super easy to propagate. It's just been nothing but kind. And I think when you see my mother plant, you'll understand why I feel so highly about this plant, because I really knew nothing about this genus when I got her, and despite that, she just kept growing. So there we are. Sadly, next on my list is this little guy. So this is Hoya linearis. I have been on the hunt for Hoya linearis for such a long time. And this one's especially sad for me because I was actually gifted this by someone pretty dear to me, and she runs Blue Moon Tropicals, which they do have a website, and they are a local nursery to me. They're amazing. She puts a lot of love into her plants, and we were just talking one day, and I told her how much I wanted this plant and how difficult it was for me to find one, and she literally just gifted me this, and I was so grateful. I mean, it's hanging on, but I've tried propagating it several times. I find it very difficult to propagate, and I'm not really sure what's going on. It's like he doesn't seem hydrated, and no matter how much this water is in here. So I don't know. I'm afraid I might lose him, but I do know that she has some available, I believe. So hopefully I'll be able to purchase some more cuttings from her and try again, right? That's all we can do. The next two are my variegated Hoya Carnosa compacta and my green form. So the first one I'm going to show you is the variegated. These are so fun to me. I absolutely love these Hoyas. They were some of my first, and I got them from EFG Orchids. They were pretty small. In fact, most of these arms, it's kind of heavy, sorry. These arms is growth since it's been in my care. So it pretty much lived outside all spring, summer last year. And I brought her in for the season change, and she pretty much put a halt on growth. She did lose a couple leaves, so I'm hoping to get her back outside where I think she's going to thrive much better. And this is actually a little silver dragon alocasia that somehow a corm made his way into this pot, and I have no idea how. But anyway, Right now he's just living in the window in the front room of the house, the dining room, but I think it's time for him to go back out into the pergola, as well as this one. Now, this one definitely fared better this winter being inside than the variegated version. You can just see he looks much happier and healthier. I will probably pot. I don't think this one necessarily needs a repot. I repotted it not that long ago, both of them at the same time, but because he's doing so well now, this one here, I think I'm going to go ahead and repot it, and hopefully that will, stimulate some growth. But this guy here seems to be doing really, really well. He's even got some nice top growth coming, which I actually am just now noticing. That's all new. So exciting. Yeah, these are really fun to watch. I love just the way they sort of tendril down and kind of spring around. It's just kind of fun. Yeah. So yeah, I think after this is done, I'll just go ahead and put them right outside. I will miss them in the window, but I will find something else to put there, won't I? The last one I'm going to show you in the seated position, I'm so glad we were able to make it through this, is my Hoya macrophylla. This is actually two plants that were potted together. So the first, mine, I got from EFG Orchids, which is the one that's vining. And this little fuller one here at the bottom, this one is from a dear friend of mine. So I thought they looked much better in the pot together, and I actually thought I was going to lose my plant. So she generously gave me this little cutting, and yeah, it fills it out much better in the pot. And right now I just have it on this little stake. This is another one I have found doesn't seem to like being too tightly wound. It seems to like to just do its own thing. So I try not to mess with it too much. I just have it in soil and terracotta. And I would say she's definitely one of my favorite Hoyas. I really enjoy looking at her. I love the leaves. I think they are so beautiful. She definitely needs a little bit of TLC, a little dusting, for sure. But she's giving me some new leaves, which is really, really exciting. So, but of all these Hoyas, you guys, not a single peduncle, which is a little frustrating. But the last ones I'll show you are my large Hoyas. They're outside. I cannot pick them up, so we'll have to go out there to see those, and then we'll come back and recap. Last but not least, this is the two Hoyas that I mentioned before that I was going to take B-roll of. So this is, I believe this is Hoya Carnosa Crimson Princess. And this is my mother plant to the cutting that was inside. And she's just doing amazing things. I just moved her. No, actually, she stayed out here for the majority of the winter. I did bring her in like periodically, but for the most part, she lived inside. And then this one is Hoya Pubicalyx Hawaiian Splash. She's got some new growth coming. And I definitely need to love on her a little bit. I did recently repot her. So she's, she's acclimating to that. And of course, we're just coming out of winter. But she has all these tendrils that as soon as I wrap them, she'll start to grow her leaves. So, in fact, I don't know if you can see on top of that Christmas cactus last year, I brought her in for a month or so, and she had actually tendril all the way up there, and I actually had to cut it, and it doesn't seem to be dying, so I think it actually may have rooted in there. But this is my most prolific Hoya for sure. I believe when I first got her, she was a pretty good sized plant. She started, I would say this is how tall she was, about here. And so she grew all of that last
season. So yeah, that completes my Hoyas.
That's all I have for today. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in, checking out my Hoyas. I hope you'll consider subscribing if you haven't already. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.